All right, welcome to the Muscle Maturity Podcast, episode number 65. I am John Hansen. I'm here with Samir Bannout. How you doing, Samir? Getting ready for the holidays?
Doing good. Yeah, it's time to start doing some shopping and
Yeah. We
keep
got
the kids
1 week left.
happy, keep some of your friends happy.
Yeah,
hmm
less than 1 week.
How about you? It's almost time to jump on the airplane and go home.
No, I went last weekend. I was in Chicago last weekend, celebrated a week early.
Oh, you did already? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I just got home last
So
night. Yeah.
it wasn't Thanksgiving. You didn't go in Thanksgiving and then Christmas. Okay. But at least you got to see the family. So,
Yeah, I went 1
yeah.
week early to avoid all that rush because I know this week's going to be crazy. Traveling's going to be crazy
Oh,
this
yeah.
weekend.
No doubt.
Because Christmas is on Monday, so everybody's going to be traveling Friday. You know, it's going to be nuts.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Christmas and
Yeah.
then you got the New Year. I mean, this is the craziest time of the year for traveling.
Right, for sure.
I'm gonna go hang out in Dallas for New Year.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Mhm.
Cool.
I'm doing something with someone special and something very special. I'll keep you posted on that in due time.
Okay.
Something very good.
And what are you doing for
You know,
Christmas? You just staying home for Christmas?
just hanging out with the boys, with the family here. Just doing my
Okay.
things and same usual
Okay.
Christmas tree and stuff. Yeah, you know
Yeah.
what's funny? My
All
boys
right.
are already they're like 23 and almost 20, Sergio. And we still treat them like
Mm-hmm.
like kids, like a young boy.
Yeah.
It's so funny how
Right.
you always see your kid, the youngest, like your babies,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
six
for
foot
sure.
two, 6 feet, 6'2" babies. Sergio's already reaching 205 pounds. 205 now.
Wow.
Really muscular, John. Yeah. Clean.
Yeah, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. He's going to start doing some
Well,
coaching. He said, Dad, I need, yeah. So, what's up, John? What's new?
last Friday they came out with the Arnold Classic list. So the Arnold Classic is a couple months away, first weekend in March 1st through 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
So we got 4, 8. Well, we have 13 competitors, but a couple people are pending.
Mm-hmm.
So
Was
Hadi,
Andrew Jack spending?
Andrew Jacked, and Nexzilla are all pending. So I don't know if that's because of traveling issues. I know Andrew Jacked is doing the Arnold UK in Europe in 2 weeks after this contest, but I don't think he's totally committed to this contest yet. So
It's
if
probably
those three
smart
guys go in, and it's going to be
I think Andrew should do
if
both.
those
If
three guys
they're
go in,
within 2
really
weeks,
good.
John, I'm thinking if Andrew competes at that one, and 2 weeks later
Mhm.
go to the UK, it'd be fine. It wouldn't be too risky. It wouldn't put too much pressure on the body. And
Right.
you peak and you re-peak, which is very simple. I
And
think he's
Samson
working
DAUDA
with
is doing
someone
good.
I know. Samson? Oh yeah, man. Yeah, Samson is always a front runner, man. In my book, he's so dangerous, so damn dangerous. And Hadi wants to redeem himself here. He wants, he smelled
Right.
blood, Hadi. So
Yeah, I think it's a good move for Hadi to do it. So I hope he can get over and do it.
well, to be honest,
There was
half of the world felt Hadi could have won the Olympia, and I'm one of the guys who I felt the Olympia could
yeah,
have
me
gone
too.
either way. Really, the Olympia could have gone either way, and I was right there. So, I mean, I felt if he actually won the Olympia, it would have been acceptable too. Okay.
Right.
Not to say that it was walk in the park, but it seems like he's going to be the main front runner and not Arnold Classic. And depending on what Samson does, if Samson comes in onion skin shredded, he'll be very, very, very dangerous as always.
Yeah, Samson won last year, so he's going to try and win it twice, 2 years in a row.
Well, he could, but this time it's
But
going to be much tougher having Hadi, who's like I said, he went to revenge. He went to revenge. You know, he hated that
if
loss
Hadi and
at the
if
in
Hadi and Andrew
Orlando.
Jack don't make it, I think it's going to be an easy win for Samson. I think he's got to be the front runner
Oh,
all the way.
oh, Samson would win easily if Hadi and Andrew Jack don't show up. But
Right.
I know Hadi is going for sure. So
That horse MD Marcelo, he's going in it too, so that should be interesting. I hope he looks really good because he looked good at the was it the Romania show last year? He
hmm
looked really good. Great structure,
hmm
so he's got got some good potential. And then Brandao's going in it too. Rafael Brandao. He hasn't competed in like a year, so it should be
I
interesting to
want
see
to
what
see
he
what he
looks like.
looks
He's got
like.
a new coach.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
working with Neil
he's
Hill now,
great.
I
I,
guess.
I like it. I like his body, and he's very passionate. I told him that he needed to put on a couple of pounds. He gets in shape,
Hmm.
but for some reason, the last time I saw him at the Olympia, he was a little bit undersized comparing with the top 7 or 8. Remember?
Yeah,
So if you put on 10
that's what
pounds
he's
of
like now.
quality muscle, yeah, he's compact and he's got everything. I mean, he was working with Chris. He was getting in shape. He gets in shape always. He gets shredded. But I think the
Yeah.
beef is necessary. The same thing I tell Logan Franklin. I said, Logan, you got to put on 10, 12 pounds of pure muscle, and you'll be front runner.
Yeah,
I mean, Rafa seemed like he put on some mass. That's a recent photo, John.
I think so. Yeah, yeah. He looks definitely thicker in the chest for sure, chest and arms.
Yeah, he looks like he put on maybe 10 pounds of muscle. And
Yeah,
usually, when you're bulked up, you don't look as good. But I can tell that if he gets leaner with keeping all that muscle mass, he's going to do a lot better.
man,
Yeah,
he's huge. He doesn't
he
look like the
is.
same bodybuilder.
Yeah, but let's hope he can bring the class right now. I mean, the mass is there. Look at that lad. I
Yeah,
mean, you know, Raphael has a beautiful physique, and
yeah.
putting that touch up at that again. I always refer to the 24K quality. If you get that paper thin skin, like what Ramon, his countryman, brought to the table. Ramon was shredded to the bone. I would love to see him get super shredded with that muscle mass that he put on.
Looks like those
He'll
pictures were
be
2 weeks ago. He's got a lot of cutting to do.
hold, hold on 1 second. Yeah, yeah, I can tell he looks like a lot more beefier.
All
Yep.
right, let's see who else is on the list there. Scott, you can go back to the list. All right. De La Rosa's going in too.
Del Rosa, remember when he competed against Hunter, and he really pushed Hunter very hard. He was very
Yeah,
impressive. I just hope he stays healthy and they allow for recovery before they get into those competitions. Because John, I'm telling you, competing every 2, 3 months is really unhealthy, not healthy at all.
yeah.
Because I know what
And
needed to be done in order to get that quality. Very good bodybuilder, man. I'm impressed that he's back better than he used to be. Lately
yeah.
he's been doing really well.
Yeah, he had a little time off over the fall, so he should come back better. I think he'll be
Well,
better
let's
this
hope
year.
so. But I mean, the time off for me, Jean, is really cleansing, making sure
Yeah,
your chemistry is on point, you're healthy. If you push it,
right.
because I know some of them are my friend, weren't coached by me. They were doing something, they're looking incredible, but then we found out later some of the things happen, which is affecting everything. So, you know, if you
Mm-hmm.
think health is wealth first and be able to compete and stay healthy, why not?
Right.
How old is De La Rosa? Do you know?
No, I don't know.
He's got to be near 40.
Yeah, he's been around a while. We got James Hollingshead too. James Hollingshead hasn't competed in a while either. So that should be interesting. Hopefully he
Yeah.
can bring a good package.
He's British, isn't he?
Probably, yeah. He's probably the strongest bodybuilder in the world right now. That guy is
Wow.
super, super strong.
You can
Incredibly
see
strong.
you can see the muscularity. He looks very impressive. Look at the
Yeah.
calves.
He's really thick. He's just got the only thing that always threw me off about his physique was he needs better abdominals. His abs always seem washed out, even when he's lean, and he just doesn't have that. That really throws his physique off.
Look at I read
So I don't know
something
if that's
funny
just
here.
a
Milo
genetic.
says I read Milo saying super flat. You need to eat. Oh, if that's flat, I wonder what happened when he load up. I don't think he's flat. I can tell you from looking
No,
at
I don't
his
think.
shoulders, he's popping up. So he's one of the strongest bodybuilder in the world now.
Oh yeah, Have you ever seen his lifts? He's incredibly strong. Look at this. He'll squat like what is that? 7 plates, I think.
Oh my God. I could only do half squat
No,
with that. But he
look
went, that's,
look
is
at
that
that. No,
700?
no spotter. I think it's 7 plates. Yeah, no spotter. Nothing.
Oh, 7 plate. How many pounds would that be? 300 pounds? 300 kilogram? No.
Maybe yeah.
Wow. It's unbelievable. Very strong. Really strong. Hmm. But
It
then
looks like 7
again,
plates. More than 6.
7 plate, multiply that by 45 and the bar 45. Let me see. 7 and the bar, 14, 15. 15 times 45. 675 pounds. That's a lot of weight. Near 700 pounds. And you know,
It
remember
doesn't like
though,
it's nothing.
that's not all. But remember, Jean, you got to do this comfortably. Otherwise, there's the consequences. And we know what happened to Ron Coleman. Ron Coleman, probably one of the
Yeah.
strongest, does 400, 800 pounds. But later on, he came back to hunt Ronnie. He's got a hip issues. And so
Look at this.
I'd be careful. And yeah, now I
That looks
want to
like
know how
8
much
plates.
is
I think that's
that?
8 plates. I think that's 8
That's
plates.
8. Let me see. I want to
Yeah.
multiply that. 8 plate in the bar. So 16, 17. Hold on. 17 times 40. Oh, mistake. 17 times 45. 765. He's a moose.
Yeah.
John, I did 745, 3 reps, but I wasn't this big. 745 for true. This guy is a monster. He's an animal. No disrespect. He's an animal. You can tell
He's
his
got that
muscle.
Viking
It
blood.
look like he have that gnarly muscularity like Dorian. You notice he's hard.
Oh, he's got real thickness. Yeah.
It's maybe the food in the UK is a little bit higher quality than American food. I'm serious. Well, you know what's funny? Whenever I had meals when I ate in the UK back in the days, you know, when I order breakfast, you get that egg was full yellow. The yolk is golden. The bread, everything.
Oh
I
yeah.
think they have no bullshit. I ate better in Europe than I did in the United States when I'm on the road. You know, you go here to big boys, you don't get that egg with high quality, you know, unless you're going to a great restaurant. I tell you, the food quality in restaurant in the UK is better than, you know, I'm just saying, talking overall.
Yeah, he hasn't competed in a while, so I
yeah, it looks
hope he
pretty
hits his peak.
impressive. His calves are huge. I mean, the guy have lots of beef.
Oh yeah. Akeem Williams is coming back too. He hasn't competed in a while either. I think he was at the
I don't
Olympia
know
last year, but he wasn't there this year.
He's huge. Yeah, let's get that onion skin. No onion skin, no glory. I'll tell you that right now. The whole game is mass was class. Mass alone won't cut it, John. I'm sorry. I mean, look at it. Great. Look at how huge his arm. His waist looks pretty small too. I mean, if you can get ultra shredded,
he's got those high lats
arm
though too. That's what hurts him.
No, his lat is not bad. I think in that photo, his lat looks pretty not bad.
Well, they're big.
And waist looks
they're
small.
Just high. You can really see it.
Not long. They're not like yours and mine. My lat goes down to my oblique. Yeah, you're right. His lat's slightly high, but lots and lots of beef. Yeah, you just need to be ultra shredded.
You can see it from the back post, the rear double bicep. You can really see it. But again, with AKIM, he's just got to come in really ripped, really hard.
That's the whole game, man. I mean, like for example, let me just say it as is, like it is. Samson comes in at 24K. Honestly, I think Hadi would be in trouble. I mean, and I love Hadi. Don't take me wrong. If Samson comes in at 24K, and remember, Milos, 24K, not 18, not 21. If you want your boys to come in and kick ass, and you know, and that goes to Regan Grime too. Once we get to 24K, and I'm not going to bullshit you, my friend, I can differentiate between the 21 and 24. Maybe the average Joe can't, but I can. So, I mean, look, that physique is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I love Samson's body. He's just got to get that ultra shredded. Wow, he looks so massive here, bro. Wow.
Yeah. This was after those last two shows he did.
I'm telling you, Samson could win the Olympia next year. He could. He could.
Yeah, he could.
But he has to. He has to do. Remember how much we talked about Nick Walker, and at one time we didn't like Nick Walker. At one time we didn't like his body, and then a year and a half later, he's a different man. You know, Nick Walker looked really different. So this is what I expect from Samson. I think Samson's physique is like, wow. It's like, it's head and shoulders above the rest physique put together. I mean, sorry, even Andrew is so impressive. But that physique of Samson is like deadly. It's deadly good. Yeah. So in order for Hadi to come in and walk and, you know, take that show like he did, Hadi, you know, always going to come in gnarly shredded. And always Hadi come close to 24 on top. His back wasn't 24 this year. Hadi's back was like 18, but his front was near 24. But Samson,
well, he just posted a video too.
Who did?
Hadi.
Samson? Yeah, no, I mean, Hadi is so driven. He's such a powerful force. Look at that. Look at the face. You see the face, the passion. You could see the confidence. I would put my feet together, my buddy. I will tell Hadi, put the feet closer together. Really, it's completely unnecessary spreading the arm this wide, John. With all due respect. He's a Mr. Olympia, I know. Great guy. I am sure he will accept my constructive criticism. Because, you know, Hadi, you know, I dig him. I think he's a wonderful person. I respect him a lot. But the idea of spreading the arm too far out, it's more damaging, not helping. It just throws off the beauty of the body. And that's final. And nobody's going to convince me otherwise.
He's definitely in condition though. I mean, for like what we got, like 10 weeks or probably, right? Like, or maybe
Hadi looks
8 or 9
incredible.
weeks.
Look at that. You know what I like about Hadi? He's staying in shape. Look at that, even now. This is why I respect Hadi. He looks good always. He's not letting his body turn to a mashed potato off season. So whatever Hadi is
Right.
doing, or whatever he and his good coach, Hani, they're doing a great job. And the good things is I feel comfortable about Hani because he is paying more attention to health more than anybody else. This is
Yeah.
really one thing I have to hand it to Hani. Good coach. We got to tell the truth. It don't
How about
matter.
how about Shaban? How do you think he could do?
Who who.
Shaban.
Oh, Muhammad Shaban. Muhammad has beautiful body, and honestly, I don't see Muhammad at 24K either. I saw him. I worked with him. I'm posing a couple times at Gold. Wonderful guy, great body. But I would love to see that, John. We haven't seen that Andreas Munzer quality. We haven't seen that Ben Fato's quality. We haven't seen that Frank Zane etched carved body. We don't see it now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, if we
Right.
don't see it, that means it's not 24K. We know it's impressive. Starting with, Samson. Samson, beautiful body, massive, muscular like hell, but he's right on the border of 18 to 21. Same thing with Regan Grime. I haven't seen Regan Grime at 24. So
Justin
what's that?
Justin Rodriguez could make Justin Rodriguez could do some damage if he comes in good shape. He hasn't been in
I
good
don't.
shape in a long time either.
That's a big dilemma, but it's doable. Sometimes certain people, I recall Frank Zane, he was telling me once, he said, Samir, you're trying too hard. One time he told me that back when I was not placing at the Olympia, even at the 79.
Yeah.
Frank told me, Samir, you're trying too hard. Sometimes trying too hard, it could backfire. So you will learn as you go how much is too much and how much is too little. So you have to understand how to walk the fine line. And when it comes to peaking, only very few master that understand peaking without having to go the route of diuretic, load up and diuretic. There is a way to do it with, if anything, with minimum diuretic. Minimum. I mean, let's say, can it be done without diuretic? Sure can. But let's say if diuretic is needed, there is a way to simplify things where even way below the recommended dose diuretic could actually give you that additional etched look. But sometimes you take it a little too much, it makes things worse by flattening you out. So it's a fine line, and these guys are not understanding how to walk on the wire. And really, only very few coaches. I mean, when I say a few coaches, maybe you count them on one hand. That's in the world. It's all about quality, Jean. You and I know that. You can have the greatest physique. Who have the best physique nowadays? Samson and our current Mr. Olympia. I mean, come on. uh, Beautiful body. I don't know. I keep talking about these things over and over. No more
So
dwelling on
if all
that.
these guys show up somewhere, who's your top 5 if all these guys show up?
If all these guys showed up in
If
shape,
Hadi,
honestly, look,
well,
Samson,
just
I would
I don't know if
never
they're going to be
take
in
him
shape,
out.
but I mean, who are you going to pick as your top 5?
My prediction right now, Hadi is going to win because he could have won the Olympia, from my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Samson, it's no brainer. Samson has got the muscle. The only guy that could actually make it difficult too on Samson would be, Andrew Jack, if he comes in also improved. These are my top three for sure. Now after that you could talk, BRANDAO, if he comes in ready, and then what's his name? Our new guy. What's his name? How do you say his last name? Musquara.
Mascara.
Muscara. He's massive, and he comes in shape. With all due respect, I'm happy for him. He showed up a lot of muscle quality and mass. Honestly, his quality was pretty damn good. If he doesn't maintain that kind of quality, he's not going to do as good, John. So, I can see him easily in the top 4. Yes, I could say he's 4th place.
Yeah, I think
coming in that condition.
I think if Hadi shows up, I think Hadi will beat Samson, and then Samson will get 2nd, and then I think Andrew Jack would be 3rd. I think Nexzilla would be 4th, and then the new guy Marcelo. I think he could make top 5. He's
we don't know what
he could even move up.
Yeah, I don't know what the new BRANDAO is going to look like. We don't know. Look at he's got a beautiful body, man. I like that physique. Look at the waist is small, and you could tell the skin is thin. Body like that you cannot ignore. But what are you going to bring to the stage? I don't care about your Instagram body. Your Instagram body is fine with me, but I want to see that kind of quality on stage. If you don't bring that quality, same thing with Quizzle. Quizzle's always looking good on Instagram. When he comes to the stage, he mess up a little bit. Now look at that quality. I like his body. I think look at that. Separation in the thighs, small waist. Look at the abs. I like his body. Look at that. Cross cut. Glutes.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Look at that hamstring. Glutes. His lat needs to be improved. His lat is not good enough, John.
Yeah.
I don't like his lat. His lat spread is his weakness. Arms are good. His waist and upper thigh separation. See, look at the lat now. If he does that, you know what? His lat is his weakness. His lat is non-existent. His legs are great. Midsection's great. Pretty good overall, but he get the damage is done on the back. His back is a la Gary Stridham.
Well, not that bad.
What do you think of his back, John?
He didn't hit a rear double by. I was waiting to see a rear double by.
Yeah, but I'm looking. The lat is just there's not enough lat.
That's a weak post.
Look at the legs separated and the way he's standing.
Yeah.
Beautiful positioning. Not enough beef on the back, John. Sorry.
Yeah.
The lat are weak. His lat is his weakness, and definitely his back muscle.
Well, he still might make top 5 just based on his overall structure, but we'll see. We'll see what he looks like in the show compared to those other.
Yeah, look at him from the front. He looks very impressive. He's got a pretty body. But, I always said that Mr. Olympia or top championship always won from the back.
Well, let's look at the classic physique while we're looking over this Arnold Classic lineup. All right. So we got pretty much the same guys that were at the Olympia. We got we got Ramon, we got Terrence Ruffin, and we got Breon Ansley. So those are 4 guys who were at the Olympia who were all behind Sebum.
Some people don't quit.
And then we got Michael DeBull's in it too. So Michael DeBull should be good. He just looked really, really good in that
very
last.
Good. I like this classic competition. Let's see what happened minus Bumstead. I really
Right.
feel Ramon is going to be the front runner. I would love to see Urs bringing in some more arms. You know, Brayon, former Mr. Olympia. I mean, Brayon, he can bring in some quality beef and improve. I mean, Terrence always comes in ripped, but my top three is already clear to me. To me personally, I can tell
Who?
you the top three. Well, I mean, I would say the overall is going to be Ramon because Ramon
Mm-hmm.
also was very impressive to me at the Olympia. You know, I mean, to me, I find it very hard that he did not lose by a hair. And you know, people were saying Chris Bumstead blew him away. I mean, Chris Bumstead, he was incredible, but Ramon was pretty damn close. He pushed him hard. And I hate to say that he didn't
Mm-hmm.
even get one for. I think Ramon's body is put together properly, has a nice, you know, I can't say anything wrong with his body, seriously. Now, uh, you know, talking about Urs, I would love to see an inch and a half, 2 inches on his biceps. And guess what? He'll win. He needed to have to bring his arm next to Ramon when they hit the double biceps. You know, Ramon's arm and his forearms like Popeye. And he does have good legs. Calves, thighs flow, pretty much similar to Urs. And so I would love to see Brayon come in more dense and more, you know, he always gets shredded, but I love to see him more, you know, improved. I need to see new Brayon. Um,
Yeah, but
Terrence
no one's
always
gonna
comes
really,
in ripped.
no one's gonna be improved because it's only a couple months after the Olympia, so they're pretty much all gonna look the same, I would think. I mean, no one's gonna put on any size in 3 months, you know.
Well, but sometimes, Jean, you may have not peaked properly in the previous competition. You could have competed maybe not as full. Sometimes that can make a difference too. You know, and some people would say, "Oh, he put on muscle." No, his reserve is more uh, properly done for this particular competition.
Right.
I mean, I'm speaking. There
Yeah,
could
so
be some changes.
it's
I
all a
mean,
matter of
talking
who peaks the best.
you have to re-peak, and sometimes I could have competed +5 of glycogen. Sometimes I could compete +8 of glycogen. As we know,
Mhm.
the way you store your reserve in your muscle, it makes a huge difference on the volume and the roundness. So if you re-peak and you put the proper amount of fluid in the cell, plus understanding how to control the subcutaneous fluid, that could make you look like, oh, you've really been preparing for a year. So we don't know exactly what went on with each and every one of them. I know Ramon would have probably peaked properly because I know he was working with Chris, and Chris understand that one concept. I would love to
Right.
see Brayon +5 pound of full of glycogen in etched. I think you could look more ripped sometime with additional 3-4 pounds of volume in the cell. So Urs need to
But can
make that
he add
improvement.
3 or 4
He
pounds
need to
with that weight limit? Got that weight limit, right? He can't add I don't think he can add any more weight.
talking about Brayon.
Yeah.
What was his limit again? I kind of like keep it 187 or what?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure whatever it was at the Olympia, I'm sure he was at the limit. I'm sure he wasn't under it. So, I mean, I don't think he could go up.
Let's hope so.
I
I
thought
don't know.
I
I
thought
don't know.
I thought Breon looked really good. So
Oh,
I
Brayon
think he
always
can move
looks
up
good.
from the Olympia. Yeah, but I think he
I
placed a
think
little lower than he should have. I think he could move up.
I I think Brayon hasn't been getting a fair shake, in my opinion. I've seen him looking
Yeah.
unbelievable at 200 pounds. He really, I mean, the weight limitation sometimes it's annoying to me personally. It is.
I mean,
Sometimes you are
Breon might
forced to
be able to
compete at a
beat
line.
Breon might be able to beat hers. become,
come on. I mean,
becomes impeachable.
Brayon's. Well, okay, listen. It's very hard for Brayon to beat Urs on the lower body, so it's going to be tough. But on the upper body, Brayon is
Yeah, that's
pretty
true.
damn thick and muscular in the back and the muscle around the. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, another thing,
Yeah.
like Terrence, I could say have a similar issue to Urs. Terrence needed to have improvement in his arm, without a doubt. If Terrence's arms were like 2 inches bigger, he would have been like, wow, much more impressive. So he need to really take a whole year and try to build those arms. Him and Urs need to improve in that department. Brayon has the good arms and everything else, the back and pretty damn complete. So, you know, it's very hard for me to
Yeah.
predict the changes unless I know exactly what went on. I know if Brayon competed on exact weight or maybe underweight. So
I doubt if it was
anyhow,
underweight.
well, I again, if you ask me about the outcome, I would say Ramon would win, Brayon and Urs either one, in the second spot. Because I honestly see Ramon as an easy front runner here, based on his completeness.
Yeah.
He flows. He flows. I think Brayon have a Samir kind of body on a probably bigger, taller guy. He has similar physique like mine. Not bragging that
Yeah,
my body was good enough to win Olympia.
I think raising
He has. Mm-hmm.
I think raising
What's
that weight
John?
limit really helped his physique out a lot. He looked the best he's ever looked at the Olympia, so I think that's going to make a big difference.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. I mean, I like what's his name, Wesley. He's got a nice
Yeah.
body. He brings in quality always. And Michael DABOUL have a beautiful body. Michael DABOUL is another guy that actually remind me because he had this separation and that pretty overall look. So,
Yeah.
like you and I always say, it's hard to just predict because you don't know how they're gonna show up that day, John. You know, you could be the greatest, and then you mess up that one day, and you're gonna get blown away. And so,
Yeah, if Michael
if
DeBoer
all
comes
if
in
they're
ripped like he did at that press conference he did, I think he's got a really good shot top 5.
oh, I like his body. I remember I saw him in
Yeah.
New York, John, at the Steve Weinberger show, and I was just sitting there. And I'm like, wow, I love his body.
Yeah.
Beautiful body. He's Middle Eastern. He's got a good chemistry.
Is he?
Yeah, I heard. I think he's originally, I don't know, I'm not sure where, from the Middle East somewhere. I never met him, but I'm very impressed. He looks really, really good. And
Yeah.
what's his name? Wesley have a beautiful physique too, and he always comes in ripped. Is Wesley from Germany, Jean? Do you know where Wesley from?
I think he's not from Germany. I think he's from the Netherlands, I think.
Swiss or German? I'm not either or.
No. It's not German.
Well, well, click on one of the photo. I'll tell you. Um,
He looks
anyhow,
unbelievable there.
look at that.
God.
You see the muscle quality he has. This is what I want to see on body. I want to see this kind of muscle quality, Jean. I mean, you cannot ignore that kind of quality. And this is why do I keep saying, and some people may agree or disagree, if Samson have that paper thin skin, guess what? He'll be untouchable. Okay?
Right.
I'm telling you what I've learned, and I've only, what do I have enough experience? Maybe 50 years in the game. Come on, look at that. You see, this is when I tell people about 24. By showing photo like that, they will understand the meaning of 24. Look at the striation from one end, one chest all the way to the other side. Look at the
Yeah.
delts, the separation in the arm, and don't tell me this is not 24K. This is 24K, or at least close to 24K. He looks fantastic.
Yeah.
What do you think, John?
Yeah, he looks amazing.
Paper
He looks
thin
awesome in
skin is
pictures.
what really.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he looks better than that yet. I mean, this is a gym photo.
Yeah.
He's very impressive. Very impressive. I've always put a like on his photo. I've always put a like on his photo. Whatever he's doing, he's a quality-oriented mentality. This is exactly what I've always strived to do. I've always wanted to come in etched. And the time I came in etched, I was winning the Olympia. And so in 82 and 83, I had that kind of quality. And you can't go wrong with that. Look at that.
Yeah, he looks great.
Look at that. Yeah, very good.
All right, well, let's get to
When we talk about Andrew Jack and Samson, when they get that kind of onion skin, John, forget it. These guys are deadly dangerous. Deadly dangerous, without a doubt. What are we going to talk about, John?
we got more questions this week from our listeners, so we'll try to get through some of these. All right. What was some of the biggest mistakes you made in training and nutrition over the years, and how did you correct? What did you do to correct the mistakes?
We're going to start. I will start by saying, life is about trial and error. We all learn the hard way at times, and I think this is what makes us to be very solid coaches. Is we learn. We have the experience. Okay, when people come to us, I mean, I have a guy, John. He decided to take D-ball. Okay, I have a guy came in and says to me, "I've never taken drugs, but I'm taking 10 milligrams of D-ball, but I'm frustrated. I'm eating chicken breast. I'm eating this. I'm eating that. I'm not making gain." But I told him, "Come here. Tell me what you're eating." I said, "Okay, I'm gonna tell you what to do. You decided to take D-ball, fine with me." And he starts saying, "Oh, maybe the drugs are fake." But then I compare what he was eating, and it was his first time to use anabolic, John. But it was very funny that I told him, I said, A, B, C, D. You do that, and then you call me next week. Okay? So 5 days later, he called me, "Samir, I love you. Everything you said for me, I'm like making so much gain. I was so frustrated." I'm like, you cannot build a house without material. You have to understand. When you use anabolic, you have to understand what to do with anabolic without harming yourself. So anyway, what was my biggest mistake, John, is like Frank Zane back in the early 80s, late 70s, he told me I was trying too hard. And here we are talking 43 years later. Life is a school. You learn from your mistake. Overtraining is the biggest mistake you can do. Undereating, it's a huge mistake too. You activate the muscle, you beat the heck out of the muscle. Yeah, some of the thing I did when I dieted too hard at time, and it came back to haunt me. So more is less at time. Even if you diet too hard, is no good. If you train overtraining, is no good. Recovery, finding out what was wrong. I found out what was wrong in 80, 81, and then I figured it out in 82, and boom. Once I put it together, I was almost winning the Olympia in 82, Jean. So my biggest mistake was overtraining and undereating, and that what really hurt me. And so anyhow, this is how I can sum it up. You have to learn how to eat to win. So there's a book I think says "Eat to Win." You have to eat and understand nutrition and recovery, and those some of the mistakes I did early on.
Okay.
What about you, Jean?
With training, I would think maybe going too heavy and not like losing your form, like trying to emphasize the poundage instead of feeling the muscle. So that not saying you have to go light, but I think you have to really focus on the exercise and do it in really good
Mm,
form, like controlling the weight. Like Frank Zane used to say, let control the weight, don't let the weight control you. And I think
thank
that's a
you.
good thing to remember when you're training heavy. I mean, you could still train heavy as long as you're in control of the weight and you can feel the muscle work. Like what I try to do now is even if I train heavy, I try to like really control it on the way up and the way down. Where before I used to like kind of accelerate it on the way up and then control it on the way down, which is also pretty good. But I changed up the tempo of my training now where I'm controlling both the concentric and eccentric part of the motion. Nutrition, I think I don't know if this is a mistake I made, but a mistake I see some people make is they eat the same foods all the time. Like some people will just eat chicken and rice all the time. I think it's good to bring in different foods each meal, like a different protein source, a different complex carbohydrate. And then that way you get a variety of foods and you get different amino acid profiles with your protein. I think that's a good idea.
Hmm.
And then you just have to be careful with nutrition. Like you said, Samir, you got to eat enough, but at the same time, you don't want to eat so much that you get too fat in the off season and then you got to lose all that fat. So you got to eat enough where especially if you're training for a contest or you're training to look good, you want to keep your body fat in control, but you have to eat enough and eat enough to where you can build up your metabolism and take more calories in and train your body to take in more nutrients. And if you can do that while still staying lean, that's a great thing.
Well, in my case, John, just to add to that, what you're saying, yeah, having different quality protein. I mean, we know egg is high quality protein, lean red meat. If you, a lot of people say shit about red meat, but you know what, man? If I eat red meat and eggs, John,
Yeah.
eating additional caloric, when you're a beginner, if you're training hard, there's no way in hell you're gonna get fat unless you start eating Twinkie and hot dogs. Not if you're eating your
Hmm.
steak and eggs and potato and salad and rice. When you eat like that, find it hard to believe that somebody gets fat. And then remember, everything we do, you have to allow adaptation period. You cannot be driving your car 80 miles an hour and then make a quick U-turn. You got to merge into things, and your body will adapt to thing eventually. So don't expect your body to make that U-turn overnight. Allow it time. But the bottom line, you train hard,
Right.
you got to eat. If you don't eat, you're not going to build muscle.
Right.
Anyway, and then, that topic is unlimited. We could talk over and over and over. But I agree with you completely. Choosing variety of quality protein is so important, very important to build muscle.
This question says, "How come nobody's talking about Sergio Oliva Jr. doing the Arnold Classic?" Well, I don't think he's on the list, so that's why we weren't talking about him doing the list
We
or
always
doing the
talk about
contest.
Sergio. We always talk about Sergio. We always want Sergio to compete, and we know how much genetically gifted Sergio. I mean, the last thing I heard that he is around Dorian Yates, and I'm going to tell you,
Yeah.
if Dorian Yates mentality rub on Sergio, where he become completely 100% doing bodybuilding and really focus and peak like Dorian used to do it. Look, Sergio's. I mean, look at that. Look at the beef, man. Look at his shoulders and arms. I mean, Sergio is unbelievable, man. We just want. I
Yeah.
want to see Sergio, the real Sergio, at 100%. And when Sergio is at 100%, he is damn deadly. He's good. Look at the arm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like him and his father have the greatest arms, in my opinion. Look at the forearms, the volume.
Yeah,
I mean, Sergio
forearms
is
are
great,
gigantic.
bro. Look at that.
Yeah,
I love that photo by look at his dad over his head. I'm proud of him
yeah,
when
yeah.
he
That's cool.
respects his father because you know what? Sergio is is damn good bodybuilder and really was a minor adjustment and really going with
Yeah.
someone like Dorian Yates. If Dorian gave him 100% tunnel vision, I think he'll do great. I mean, if I was
Yeah.
around Sergio on a daily basis, let's say he's still in Southern California, and we do what I used to do, I think Sergio will shine and start winning major show.
Mm-hmm.
It's the truth must be told. I have nothing else but love for Sergio. I mean, I'm one of his father is one of my biggest idol, and Sergio is automatically incredible. By looking at the photos don't lie. The only difference nowadays, I think, quality is necessary. He needed to come in with additional quality. Yes, a little more quality.
All right. What's the next question?
I know what else.
Uh, Bulking up 4 months
Well,
out before a competition. What benefits does it have?
from my perspective, it did wonder for me. Why? Here's why. And I'm talking to you guys from the scientific point of view here. When you build muscle, I'm not saying gain 100-pound overweight. Even if you put on 15, let's say 20 pounds. Like I used to go up maybe 15, 20 pounds around, let's say I'm training for the Olympia 4.5, 5 months before. So the first 2 or 3 months are assigned to put on enough quality mass. So what that mass does for you, first of all, you could gain whatever, 5, 6, 7 pounds of pure muscle. But the key here is your metabolic rate is going to increase, like vastly improve. Your fat burning become a lot better because the more muscle you have on your frame, the faster the metabolic rate. So remember, your muscle is your best friend to burn fat. And then how do you do it? You lose fat while maintaining as much muscle as possible. So my experience was gaining a little bit of weight. For me personally, it was positive. Now I don't say do what Lee Priest does, go to 300 pounds when you're only 5'3". That's a little bit too much. I won't do what Sean Roden, may he rest in peace. He was walking around at close to 300 pounds at over 50. Now this is a little too much. You don't need to be 300 pounds if you're going to go back and compete at 255. That's 45 pounds. And when you're older, it's more dangerous. So it's okay to put on quality size. You know, in my case, it really worked wonder. And that's why when I tell people it takes me about no more than 4.5, 5 months, even 4 months to prepare for the Mr. Olympia. So I do A, B, C for the first 8 weeks, and then I do different thing for the final phase. And it works every single time. Trust me. When you jump on board and talk to me and follow that concept, you will kick ass at a high level, at the Olympia level. Why? Because after 40 plus years, I did that over and over and it worked every single time. That's in my case. What do you say about that, John? Asking you the same question.
4 months. I wouldn't bulk up 4 months because I usually diet for, depending on how big I get in the off season, I'll usually diet 12 to 16 weeks. So 16 weeks would be 4 months. So I would be dieting at 16 weeks out from the contest, or 4 months from the contest. So I wouldn't bulk up 4 months. Is he saying bulk up 4 months out? Oh, is he saying
Bulking
bulk
up. I
up
mean,
in the off season?
bulking up. My bulking up doesn't mean put on Haagen Dazs. I mean, go you eat properly, more caloric. Like, let's say I can go up to about 55, 6,000 calories around the first 8 weeks. But I don't get fat. I get volume. I get full. And yeah, I put on some muscle. Come on, you can build muscle in 2 months. And for me, 8 weeks of training, because I actually start my diet. I'm in decent shape. So if I'm losing about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of fat a week, in 8 weeks, you do the math, John. That's like 16 pounds. You could drop about 16 pounds of fat. But believe me, I never really allow my body to gain about more than 7-8 pounds of body fat. Never.
Mhm.
You know, when you're full and you have that fluid in the muscle, and you get thicker. I mean, of course, you build some muscle fiber. The gear also is different. For the 8 weeks, I took different kind of gear. We talk about gear. Let's be honest here. And I did not break the rule and the boundary of safety. So my 8 to 10 weeks of bulking up really did great work for me. I was able to even guest pose at the body weight when I'm like about 214, 215. And so by the time I hit the Olympia at 196, I was shredded beyond shredded. I won't allow my body to get fat, John, not even now. See, I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not even fat right now. Right now, my body fat is. So is it really necessary? From my perspective, yes, it is necessary to take time or to put on some lean beef. Yeah, there are ways where you could gain muscle and lose fat simultaneously, but I kind of like, I can feel my fullness and my muscle mass being way better after 10 weeks of eating more. And then let's say I reach 6,000, then I got it down to 5. I go down 45. I go down 42, 38, 35. Slowly keep my caloric, but am I changing some of the things that I'm doing when it comes to the gear? So the body, my nitrogen retention is there, my protein is there as is, and then I'm trimming down on unnecessary. My fat intake dropped, and so the calorie you're gonna see like fluctuation between reaching 6,000, 55 to 6,000, drop it down to 2,800, 2,600 at the Olympia, John. That's almost half of the caloric intake that I was you taking 5 months before. So the body slowly but surely drops fat slowly. You don't lose lean muscle that doing it that way. And understanding how to keep the body clean, how to cleanse, how to keep your liver enzyme functioning at a high level by taking in the right nutrient. I like sometimes people don't believe me. I used to get dandelion. I get fresh dandelion and steam them and eat dandelion with some olive oil and onion at least twice a week to make sure my liver enzyme is clean. Your liver enzyme is clean, the absorption is a lot better. And yes, I was 100% in my zone. My tunnel vision was good. I was getting my $500 a week from Joe Weider, and things were working fine. And this is what's happy. My mind was clear, no bullshit. Train, eat, go to the beach, let the good time roll. And how can you lose? If you lose, you're a fool. If you can't get in shape. Anyhow, so yeah, I think bulking up properly. I don't say get fat. I say bulk up. Increase your caloric intake the right way. And yeah, I did it all on 5 meals, John. Sometimes I ate 6, but for my competition, I only did 5 meals a day. Works.
Yeah. What did peak week look like for John and Samir?
Peak week. First of all, you want me to go first or you want to go first, John?
Go ahead.
My peak week was, first of all, if you're not ready 2 weeks before the show, you're not ready. I always made sure I'm looking damn good 2 weeks before the show. Like I said, having mental clarity, having you're happy with your surrounding, that's so important. You cannot have aggravation around you. You can't. I mean, we know, like Arnold says, oh, his father passed away. He said, I couldn't do anything about it. But you know, you have to stay in the zone. You have to be focused. You have to be happy. So my peak week, I'm ready. Uh, 10 days out, all I have to do is deplete and replete. When we call deplete, you know, it worked for me. Is I kept cutting down my carbs in like about 72 hours or so, bring them back up. And I've learned a lot about fluid and electrolyte management, and that is really that what helped me peak at the 82 and 83. Later on, I ran into a lot of complication where this wasn't 100% clear. Anyway, that's another topic. But yeah, that was my peak week. I'm ready. I didn't need to bust my ass the final week. I trained, pump up the muscle, making sure my body is recovering, and then load up. And then you have that healthy looking glow while you went in the show. You don't have this miserable. And I don't know how these guys doing it nowadays, but I had my main tan. I use my own tanning product, John, and you know, few things that I did. Maybe I don't talk about it in detail here, but basically I drop my carbs and I bring them back up. And I don't really go on zero carb. When I did zero carb around the time when I trained with Sergio at 79, I lost a lot of muscle. I got to keep my carbs in there. That's it.
Do you do a carb loading, carb depleting the last week?
Oh, yeah. Always have. Always worked for me.
So how many days do you do that?
Uh, my body, I'm like, I get depleted in like few days. I mean, uh, even if I eat 150 gram of carbs the way I train, and that's low carbs, and so I drop it down to 100, sometimes maybe to as low as 75, which is I did in Germany. So I do load like on day one, I go higher. On day two, I go a little bit less carb, and then on day three, I also lower the carbs, and then I looked at myself and did things accordingly. Sometimes you have to add a little bit more. Sometimes you have to ease up. You have to look at it and understand what goes on. There will always be a fluid fluctuation. Even your stress level affect that fluid like fluctuation. You know, and you're
Mm-hmm.
stressed out, you're nervous, you have the wrong fluid comes in. It's sticky kind of fluid. So uh, the sodium fluid, believe it or not, it's easy to deal with. But when you're mentally stressed and you have million things on your mind, you don't even notice it. But that kind of fluid is hormonal related fluid that comes in from cortisol and aldosterone. You cut your sodium way too early, they're going to elevate your aldosterone level. Aldosterone is capable of bringing the fluid from the cell to the outside. Okay, so that's why
Mm-hmm.
you have to understand how to keep your aldosterone level under control. Those things are scientific, but they do really make sense, especially nowadays in competitive bodybuilding. Some of those guys are crazy. They think, oh, I'm going to take aldactone. They start taking aldactone. Wrong. You don't take aldactone, not even the recommended dose. You don't touch this shit because it's proven that when you take spironolactone, there's no way you could be able to load up glycogen. You can't. So take that out of your head. You take spironolactone. I'm just talking about the peaking process. If I can go in detail, I don't want to complicate things to people, but there are things that has to be taken into account when it comes to playing with electrolyte and fluid management. You have to be very careful, very careful. It could easily backfire and it messes you up. Sometimes salt is your best friend. Sometimes additional water is your best friend. Those that cut water completely and do all these stupid things, it's like ridiculous, John. You don't do things every time the same. You do things accordingly. You do things accordingly. And that's why you need to be with a coach that understands what's going on, how much magnesium need to be taken, how much potassium. Is potassium in the wrong way could fuck things up for you? Yes, it could. So, for example, taking too much potassium, it could elevate aldosterone. And so you have to understand what goes on to have that paper thin skin. And no, the average Joe think they know. Let me tell you, experience is everything, John. Experience is everything in life. Understanding, reading books and being a textbook intelligent, that's not enough. You have to understand how to do things in the real world. So I tell you one thing, doctors don't understand when you tell them I need more intracellular, less subcutaneous. Most doctors don't know shit about that. If you don't go to a highly educated endocrinologist, that will be a topic that it's very important in the world of bodybuilding today. That's what separates the man from the boys. This is what I'm talking about. A guy like Simon and, talking about Simon and Andrew and what have you, Regan. This is where the sticking point. Most people think, oh, I'll drop the water. Not so fast. There's a way to drop in the water, and sometimes it's not water. Sometimes you need the water. Sometimes it's way before how to minimize the issue that causes you to retain additional fluid. Anyway, we can leave that topic for another segment or another podcast where we can talk about maybe complicated things. Easy, but people do complicate things. Yeah. Okay. That's my peak week, John.
All right. What I usually do for my peak week is I'll do 2 cycles of like low carbs, high carbs. So I'll do like 3 days low carbs and then 2 days high carbs, and then I'll do that again. So that'll be like the week leading up to the contest. And usually with the first cycle, I can kind of judge how my body reacts to the low carbs, high carbs, and then I can modify it for the second cycle. And then I'll have like 3 days low carbs and then 2 days high carbs. And then that'll lead right up until the day of the show. And that usually dries me out and keeps the muscles full then too, for the contest. So I find out when I do the low carbs for 3 days, the higher protein seems to really dry out the body. Maybe it's because your body has to work harder to digest all that protein, but it seems like that really dries me out. And then when I fill up with the carbs, it seems like it works really good. So.
Yeah, John, when I talk about this topic, I want to touch one thing on that topic really quick. How many times you've seen guys said, oh my God, I look so much better today after the show. I said, I look way so much better. Oh my God, why didn't I look like that yesterday? Right. Because yesterday you were stressed out, and the hormone that you created by your negative thought and worrying did different things for you. So you will not get fat eating additional amount of carb. You get fat by releasing different kind of hormone and not understanding what enough is enough. And so there's a way to adjust, to make the adjustment. But there's no way in hell you can get fat even if you ate like for 5 days straight. It's all water. Yeah. Anyway, another topic.
Right. Okay. Well, I got to run because I got an appointment, Samir. So we'll save those next couple questions for next week, and we'll just come back next week, and that'll be Christmas week.
I know I might do it from Dallas, Texas, but I'll be on board. Okay. So you go do your thing. I'm gonna go do mine. I'm gonna go train. Today it's chest and triceps, John.
Me too.
You have a great one.
All right, everybody have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And we'll keep it old school.
You keep it old school. Absolutely.